It was past midnight when 8 female wrestlers spotted something on the side of the deserted highway. At first, they thought it was just road debris, maybe a torn backpack or an old blanket, but as their headlights inched closer, every woman in the van froze. It wasn't debris. It was a pregnant woman, barefoot and bruised, crawling onto the asphalt, as if she was desperately trying to escape someone lurking in the darkness behind her. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had such an incident happen to you? And also tell me which city and country you're watching from, so I can thank you personally, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true stories like this. The night was colder than it should have been for early summer, the kind of cold that made the world feel abandoned. Highway 49 stretched endlessly through miles of farmland and forgotten gas stations. No cars, no streetlights, just darkness. Thick, heavy, and unsettling. Inside the van, 8 female wrestlers were returning from a late-night charity event. They were exhausted, bruised, hungry, and still half laughing from a chaotic match they'd wrestled earlier. Raven, the team captain, sat in the passenger seat with her boots up on the dashboard. Her braided hair hung over her leather jacket, face illuminated by the dim glow of her phone. "Next time," she muttered, "I swear I'm not doing a steel chair spot for free." Behind her, Jada kicked off her shoes. "Girl, you said that last time and the time before that." The van roared with laughter. Ava, the smallest but loudest, added, "Can we please get food? Like I could body slam a burrito right now." "Focus," Zara said from the back. "We're 50 miles from anything edible." "Speak for yourself," Ava whispered dramatically. "I'm dying. Dead." More laughter. It felt like a normal ride home. Sore muscles, stupid jokes, and leftover adrenaline. But then, Keisha, who was driving, suddenly leaned forward, squinting. "Hold up. Did anyone see that?" "See what?" Raven asked, lowering her phone. Keisha didn't answer immediately. Her grip tightened on the wheel. "There, on the shoulder." The van quieted. 8 wrestlers leaned toward the front window. At first, it looked like a lump beside the road, a dark shape half hidden in the shadows. Maybe an animal, maybe trash, maybe nothing. But then... It moved. Raven sat up straight. "Stop the van." Keisha braked hard. The tires screeched, and everyone lurched forward. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The headlights illuminated the shape again. Ava whispered, "Yo, that's a person." Jada's eyes widened. "No way!" But they knew the moment they saw an arm lift weakly from the ground. Keisha threw the van in park. "Everybody out!" The wrestlers rushed out. 8 powerful women sprinting across the pavement, boots pounding, hearts racing as they got closer. The image sharpened. A woman. Pregnant. Barefoot. Filthy. Shaking uncontrollably, her dress torn at the side, kneeling, trying to crawl, collapsing again. Her hair stuck to her face with sweat and blood. Her lips were cracked, breath ragged and shallow. Raven kneeled beside her, gently touching her arm. "Oh my God. Sweetheart, can you hear me?" The woman's eyes fluttered open. Dark, terrified, lost. She swallowed with difficulty, whispering, "Help. Please, help me." Ava dropped to her knees, wrapping a jacket around her shoulders. "Oh, baby, you're freezing. What happened to you?" The woman winced as another tremor shook her body. Raven touched her arm again. "What's your name?" The woman tried to speak. Talia. "Talia," Jada said softly, kneeling beside her. "You're safe now, okay? We got you." But Talia shook her head violently, tears spilling. No, you don't understand." Raven frowned. "What don't we understand?" Talia lifted her trembling finger and pointed at the dark woods beside the highway. Her voice cracked into a whisper. "Please, don't let him find me." Every wrestler went still, like something cold slid down their spines. Keisha glanced around the tree line, scanning the darkness. Him? Who's him? Talia sobbed, covering her stomach protectively. He's coming. He's coming. He said he'd kill me before he lets me leave. Ava's heartbeat skyrocketed. Oh, hell no, what did she just say? Before Raven could respond, a branch snapped in the woods. Loud, sharp, too close. The wrestlers instantly moved into a defensive circle around Talia. Muscles tense, instincts kicking in. Zara whispered, "What was that?" Another crack. Something moving, something not small. Talia clutched Raven's arm, nails digging in. "Please, please don't let him take my baby." Raven looked at the others, fear flashing in her eyes. But so did something else. Fury. Protective, primal, unstoppable fury. She lifted Talia carefully into her arms. "Ladies," Raven said through clenched teeth, "we're getting her in the van. Now!" Keisha held the van door open while Jada, Zara, and Ava formed a shield around Raven and Talia. Inside, Talia curled up, sobbing, whispering, "He's coming. He's close. He always finds me." Raven got in beside her. Wrapping arms around the terrified woman, Ava slammed the door shut. Keisha yelled, "Everyone in!" The wrestlers jumped inside. As the van sped off, tires screaming, the women looked behind them. The woods were pitch black, silent. But someone was there, watching, waiting, hunting. And as the highway swallowed the van in darkness, Talia whispered the name of the monster they were running from. "Marcus!" Keisha floored the accelerator, and the van lurched forward, its engine roaring louder than the wrestlers had ever heard it before. The dark highway whipped past them, mile after mile of emptiness, with no lights, no exits, no civilization, just shadows following them like a curse. Inside, everyone was breathing hard. Raven held Talia tightly, feeling the pregnant woman tremble against her chest. Talia's breaths were sharp and uneven, like she couldn't pull enough air into her lungs. Hey, slow down," Raven whispered. "You're safe. You're with us now." But Talia shook her head violently. "Nobody's safe from him. Nobody." Ava leaned over the seat. "Girl, talk to us. Who the hell is Marcus?" Talia's eyes filled again. Fear, pain, memories that looked like they were still happening inside her mind. "He's my husband," she whispered. Then she added something that made every wrestler stiffen. "And I ran away from him tonight." The van fell completely silent. Jada swallowed. "Ran? Why, what did he do?" Talia clutched her belly with both hands, wincing from either fear or contractions. Maybe both. "He snapped tonight," she choked out. "He grabbed me, shoved me, screamed that the baby wasn't mine to take. He said if I ever tried to leave, he'd rather see us dead than alone." A chill crawled up Raven's spine. "Did he hurt you?" Zara asked quietly. Talia nodded slowly. "Where?" Ava whispered. Talia lifted her sleeve with trembling fingers. Bruises. Dark, purple, swollen bruises. Zara's jaw locked. Keisha's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Jada covered her mouth. Ava whispered something under her breath. Something angry. Raven exhaled through her nose. "We're taking you to a hospital." "No!" Talia screamed, grabbing Raven's wrist. "Please don't. He'll go there first. He always knows where I go. He tracks me. My phone. He installed something in it." Keisha spat out a curse. Raven gently held her face. Okay. No hospital. Not yet. We'll find somewhere safe." Talia nodded, tears dripping down her cheeks. But then... Beep. A soft sound came from Raven's pocket. Raven frowned and dug out Talia's cracked phone, which had fallen into her lap earlier. On the screen, "Marcus, where do you think you're going? Did you really think I wouldn't find you?" Jada felt her stomach drop. Oh no, he knows she's gone. A second message arrived instantly. Marcus. You're not alone. I see the van. The breath was punched out of every woman in the vehicle. Keisha slammed her foot down even harder. What the hell does that mean? How does he see us? Ava spun around and looked through the back window. The highway behind them was empty for a moment. Then she saw it. A single pair of headlights, far back but steady. Not gaining, not slowing, just following. Ava's voice cracked. Guys, we've got company. Raven turned slowly. Is that... Talia didn't even need to look. Her entire body collapsed inward. He found me. That was when another contraction hit, hard, so hard she bit her lip to stop from screaming. Raven caught her. Oh God, okay, breathe, Talia. It's early, she sobbed. It's too early, it's too soon. Keisha yelled from the front. Ladies, we need a plan. We can't outrun him forever. Zara grabbed the map on her phone. There's nothing around for 20 miles. No police, no gas station, nothing. Jada looked at Raven desperately. What do we do? Raven didn't answer right away. Her eyes were locked on the headlights behind them, growing larger in the mirror, getting closer, steadier, relentless. Then she said it. We protect her. Her voice dropped into something deep, primal, captain mode. All 8 of us, no matter what happens. Ava nodded immediately. I'm down. Jada cracked her knuckles. Let him try. Zara tied her hair up tighter. Let's see him handle 8 angry women. Keisha kept driving, but her voice was strong. He's not touching her. Not tonight. The van sped forward into the darkness, heartbeats pounding just as loud as the engine. Talia curled into Raven's arms, whispering a prayer through her tears. Please, help my baby. Please! Raven brushed her hair from her face. We will. I promise. But as the headlights behind them grew closer, brighter, more determined, even she didn't know if that promise was one she could keep. The van sped deeper into the darkness, headlights cutting only a thin slice through the endless highway. The world outside felt like a tunnel of blackness. No houses, no towns, no other cars, just their van, and the one behind them. Jada kept her eyes glued to the back window. He's getting closer, she muttered, like he knows every move we make. Ava crawled toward the rear seats, pressing her face to the glass. That's not following, she whispered. That's hunting. Zara looked away, a chill settling in her bones. Then we need to know exactly what we're dealing with. Raven nodded. Talia, listen to me. I need you to tell us everything, every detail. We can't help you if we're blind. Talia's hands trembled uncontrollably as she clutched her stomach. Her breaths were short, panicked. I can't talk about him. Raven pulled her close. Look at me. You're safe right now. We're here, all 8 of us. No one's hurting you. Talia shook her head, tears falling. You don't understand. You've never met him, Keisha shouted from the front. Maybe we're about to so talk. The van hit a bump, jolting everyone. Talia inhaled shakily, then finally whispered, Marcus is not a normal man. He's not human. Ava blinked. What do you mean, not human? Girl, what? Talia interrupted, voice breaking. He doesn't feel things. Not pain, not fear, not love. Nothing you can scream, you can beg. He'll watch like you're a TV show. Raven froze. Zara whispered, That's a psychopath. No, Talia said softly. He's worse. The wrestlers exchanged looks, fear mixing with anger. Talia wiped her face with trembling fingers. I thought I could handle him at first. He was charming, strong, protective. He knew exactly what to say. I married him fast. Too fast. And by the time I realized who he really was, Her voice cracked. By then it was already too late. Raven held her tighter. Jada leaned forward. What did he do to you? Talia looked down at her arms again. The bruises, old and new. That's just what's on the outside. A painful silence filled the van. And when I got pregnant, Talia whispered, he changed. He said the baby belonged to him alone, that I didn't matter anymore. He kept saying my only purpose was to give him a son. Zara clenched her teeth. A son? What if the baby isn't? I don't know, Talia croaked. He didn't care. He wanted control. A sudden contraction made her fold in half, gripping Raven's jacket. Raven steadied her. Breathe, Talia, you're okay, just breathe. Keisha called from the driver's seat. We gotta find civilization, any civilization. Ava checked her phone. No signal, zero. It's like this whole stretch of road doesn't exist. Talia forced herself to keep talking, her voice shaking harder with every word. He installed a tracker in my phone. He knew where I was at all times, and when I tried to leave the house tonight. Talia swallowed hard. He snapped. He grabbed me by the throat, lifted me off the ground like I was weightless. He said... Her voice cracked into a whisper. He said if he couldn't have the baby, no one would. Raven felt anger ignite in her chest like wildfire. Jada gripped the seat so tightly, her knuckles turned white. That sick bastard. Talia flinched at the curse, shaking her head. You don't understand, he's strong. Stronger than any man I've ever met. He doesn't stop. He doesn't quit. Once he's after something, he doesn't stop until he gets it. Zara muttered, Oh, he picked the wrong van tonight. A contraction hit again, harder this time. Talia screamed in pain. Raven immediately supported her. Okay, deep breaths. Talk to me. How long have you been feeling contractions? Talia's voice trembled. An hour, maybe more. They're closer now. Too close. Ava gasped. She's going into labor, right now. Talia nodded, tears spilling. But it's too early, she whispered. It's not time yet. Something's wrong. For the first time, fear flickered across Raven's face. Keisha cursed under her breath. We need to stop somewhere. She's having this baby. But the headlights behind them grew brighter. Closer, closing the distance with predatory precision. Jada stared at them, eyes widening. He's speeding up, Ava whispered. He's coming. Raven looked from Talia to the window, then back again. She could feel the decision forming in her chest. Heavy, dangerous, unavoidable. Talia, she said quietly, do you know where he might be taking you if he caught you? Talia's voice cracked open like a wound. Yes. Where? His father's cabin, she whispered. Deep in the woods, no neighbors, no help. Nobody would hear me scream. The van went silent again. Raven exhaled slowly. Not happening, she said. Not while we're alive. The wrestlers all nodded, one by one, until 8 determined faces filled the van, then... Flash! A pair of bright high beams hit their back window like a punch of light. The SUV was right behind them now, too close. Keisha jerked the wheel. What the... The SUV swerved aggressively, bumping their rear bumper. Talia shrieked. Ava screamed, he's trying to ram us! Raven braced herself, shouting, Keisha, drive! Keisha hit the gas so hard the van shook. The wrestlers held on for dear life. Talia's scream filled the van. A mix of terror and a contraction so powerful it made her whole body convulse. Raven held her face firmly. You listen to me, Talia. We're not letting him take you. We're not letting him touch you. I swear to God, he'll have to go through 8 of us to get near you or that baby. Talia sobbed uncontrollably, nodding against Raven's chest. Outside, the SUV swerved again, harder this time. Ava shouted, He's right on us! Jada yelled back, Raven, what do we do? Raven looked forward, chest heaving. She saw the road curving ahead. She saw the map in Zara's shaking hands. She saw the headlights getting brighter, brighter, brighter. And then she made her choice. "Everyone hold on." Keisha tightened her grip on the wheel. Raven whispered to herself, "If he wants a fight, he's about to get ate." The van tore around the curve so fast the tires screamed, the whole vehicle tilting dangerously close to flipping. Talia cried out, clutching her stomach, her breaths sharp and uneven as another contraction ripped through her. "Please, slow down, please," she sobbed. "I can't," Keisha whispered, voice trembling. "He's right on us." The SUV behind them swerved again, its engine roaring like a monster's growl. The high beams flashed, blinding the wrestlers through the rear window. Ava crawled forward, grabbing Keisha's shoulder. "Take the next exit! Take it!" "There is no exit!" Keisha shouted. "There hasn't been for 10 miles!" Zara looked at her GPS, panic rising in her voice. "There's a service road up ahead. Turn left. It leads to something, a building. I don't know what, but it's anything." Raven leaned forward. "Take it. Now!" Keisha jerked the wheel left. The van bounced hard onto a cracked, narrow road with broken asphalt and weeds growing through the center. It looked like it hadn't been used in years. Ava glanced behind them. "Did we lose him?" "No!" Jada yelled. "He took the turn, too!" The headlights reappeared behind the trees, weaving down the same narrow service road. "Oh, hell no," Ava whispered. The road narrowed, twisting deeper into thick woods. Branches scratched the sides of the van, the wind howling around them. Zara shouted, "Half a mile! Something is half a mile up ahead!" "Please be a police station," Keisha muttered. "Please be a full army base," Ava added. But then, through the trees, a single neon sign flickered weakly in the distance. Dixie's Diner opened 24 hours, except the sign was half shattered, half dark. Raven stared at it, jaw tightening. "That place looks abandoned." Keisha swallowed. "You want me to keep going?" Raven looked at Talia, shaking, sweating, fighting both terror and labor. Then she looked at the headlights behind them, closer than ever. "No choice," she said. "We stop there." They pulled into the gravel lot, skidding to a halt beside the run-down diner. The building was old, windows busted, paint peeling, the door hanging crooked on one hinge. A rusted gas pump sat beside it like a dead relic. "Everybody out!" Raven shouted. They jumped out of the van and formed a tight circle around Talia as she struggled to her feet. "Ow! Ah! Ah!" she cried. Doubling over in pain, Ava grabbed her arm. "Honey, breathe! Breathe! Slow, slow!" Keisha ran to the diner door and shoved it open with her shoulder. The inside was dark dust everywhere, tables overturned, windows boarded. "It's safe enough," she called. "Get her in." But Jada looked over the graveled lot and whispered in horror. "Too late." The black SUV pulled into the lot slowly, silently, like a predator who already knew the kill was his. Its headlights shut off. The world went pitch dark. Talia screamed and clung to Raven, legs trembling. Raven pulled her close. "Get inside! Now!" Ava and Zara rushed Talia into the diner while the others stayed outside, watching the SUV door slowly open. A heavy boot stepped out. Then another. A tall figure emerged. Broad shoulders, black jacket, face shadowed in the dim moonlight. Marcus. He didn't walk toward them. He stalked, like he was approaching prey he'd already claimed. Raven, Jada, Keisha, and Murphy, the strongest of the group, stepped forward, blocking the entrance. Marcus stopped a few feet from them. He slowly raised his head. His eyes were unnervingly calm. Cold. Detached, like someone who didn't understand fear because he'd never felt it. "Where is she?" Marcus asked, voice steady, emotionless. Raven's jaw tightened. "Gone. Leave." Marcus didn't blink. He tilted his head slightly, studying them the way a butcher studies a cut of meat. She's my wife. Jada crossed her arms. Doesn't look like she wants to be. Marcus's lips twitched. Not quite a smile, but something twisted. She belongs with me. No, Raven snapped. She belongs somewhere safe. Marcus took one step forward. The wrestlers instantly squared up. But Marcus only spoke in a quiet, chilling voice. She left the house without permission. He paused. That has consequences. Jada actually flinched. What the hell is wrong with you? Marcus looked at her for a long moment. Oh, you're the tough one. He took another step. Keisha shoved him back. You take one more step and I swear. Marcus's mask cracked a little, not in anger, in amusement. You think you can stop me? Raven stepped directly into his path. Yes, she said. 8 of us. Marcus's jaw tensed. Move. No. Then something flashed behind his eyes. Something dark, something violent. He moved. Fast. Faster than any of them expected. He grabbed Keisha by her jacket and threw her across the gravel like she weighed nothing. She hit the ground hard, rolling and gasping. Jada screamed, Hey, hey, back off! Marcus swung at her. She ducked, countered, nailed him with a forearm. But he didn't react. Not even a flinch. Ava sprinted out from the diner. He's in! He's in! He's coming inside! Marcus shoved Jada aside and stormed toward the entrance. Inside the diner, Talia screamed, No, no, no! Please, don't let him take me! Raven and Zara rushed to block the doorway. Marcus grabbed the doorframe with both hands and ripped the entire door off its hinges. Zara stumbled back. Oh my God! Marcus stepped into the diner. Silent. Cold. Unstoppable. Talia backed into a corner, crying hysterically. No, stay away, the baby, please! Raven charged, tackling Marcus with her full body weight. He didn't move. Not 1 inch. Then he grabbed Raven by the throat and slammed her into a booth, so hard the wood cracked. Ava screamed. Raven! Zara grabbed a broken diner chair and smashed it against Marcus's back. It shattered. He turned slowly. Eyes empty. Void of humanity. Zara froze. Marcus lunged, but before he reached her, Jada and Keisha, bleeding but back on their feet, crashed into him from behind, dragging him down. The diner erupted into chaos. Shouts, grunts, punches, the sound of breaking glass. All 8 women were fighting for one thing, to keep Talia alive but Marcus. He fought like he wasn't human. He threw Ava across a table. He slammed Jada into the counter. He elbowed Keisha in the ribs until she fell gasping. Raven struggled back to her feet, coughing, vision blurry. Talia screamed again, this time in pain. My water just broke. Help me! Raven's eyes widened through the chaos. Talia was going into labor. Right now, in the middle of a fight for her life. Raven forced herself to stand, blood dripping from her lip. She yelled with everything she had. Ava, Zara, get Talia out of here, now! Zara grabbed Talia, supporting her as she stumbled. Ava grabbed blankets, jackets, anything warm. Talia's screams grew louder. Marcus heard them. He threw Keisha aside like a rag doll and turned toward Talia. No, he whispered. No, you can't take my baby. Raven leapt in front of him. Over my dead body, she growled. Marcus smiled. That can be arranged. He swung. Raven braced herself. But before the blow landed, a voice shouted outside. State police! Hands where we can see them! Marcus froze. For the first time, a flicker of something, anger, surprise, crossed his face. Red and blue lights flashed through the broken diner windows as multiple police vehicles skidded into the gravel. Lot officers stormed toward the entrance. Raven fell to her knees, gasping. Ava screamed from the back room. Raven! Talia's having the baby right now! Police rushed in, guns drawn. Marcus turned, and ran deeper into the diner, straight toward Talia. Raven's voice cracked. "No, someone stop him!" But Marcus was faster, stronger, desperate, and the baby was coming. The diner exploded into chaos the second Marcus sprinted deeper inside, his boots slamming on the cracked tiles. His shadow stretched monstrously across the wall as he tore through overturned tables and shattered stools, heading straight for the back room where Talia was screaming in labor. Raven staggered to her feet, grabbing the edge of a broken booth to steady herself. "Go, stop him!" she yelled, her voice raw and cracking. Jada, Keisha, and Zara, bloodied, shaking, and bruised, rushed after Marcus. Ava was already with Talia, holding her hand as contractions ripped through her like fire. Talia's face was drenched in sweat, her hair sticking to her forehead, her breaths sharp and desperate. "I can't!" she screamed. "I can't do this! Please, he's coming!" Ava cupped her face. "Yes, you can. Look at me, Talia. Look at me. We're not letting him touch you or this baby, not while we're alive." Another contraction hit. Talia screamed again, grabbing Ava's wrist so tightly her knuckles went white. Ava glanced at the doorway, panic rising. "Where's Raven? Where's—" Before she could finish, Marcus burst into the hallway. A dark silhouette, a shadow with the shape of a man but not the heart of one. His voice was disturbingly calm. "Move," he said to Ava. "I'm taking what's mine." Ava stood, shaking, but she stood. "You take one step toward her," she whispered, "and I swear you'll leave here in pieces." Marcus smiled slowly. "You really think you can stop—" He didn't finish. Keisha tackled him from behind, slamming him into the wall. The entire building shook. Jada grabbed a broken metal pipe from the floor and swung it at his ribs. It connected with a sickening crack. Marcus barely reacted. He turned and backhanded Jada so hard she flew into a shelf, collapsed in a heap, gasping for air. Zara kicked Marcus in the back of the knee. Nothing. He didn't even flinch. "Jesus, what is he made of?" Keisha cried. Marcus grabbed Keisha by the throat and pinned her against the wall, squeezing slowly, deliberately, savoring her panic. Raven appeared behind him, staggering but furious. She grabbed a broken chair leg off the floor and rammed it into Marcus's spine with everything she had. He finally grunted, barely, but it made him drop Keisha. Keisha fell, coughing violently. Marcus turned his head inch by inch and locked eyes with Raven. "You," he said. "You've been a problem since the highway." Raven spit blood on the floor. "Get used to it." He swung. She ducked. He swung again. She blocked, but the force sent her skidding across the floor. Ava screamed, "Raven, hurry, Talia's crowning!" Raven shouted back, "Then help her!" Zara grabbed Marcus by his jacket and pulled him back. He slung her across the hall like she was weightless. She hit a stack of plates that exploded on impact. Jada crawled forward, dazed. We can't stop him." Raven wiped blood from her lip, eyes blazing. "Yes, we can." Marcus lunged at her. Raven dodged and elbowed him in the jaw. Zara kicked the back of his leg again. Keisha tackled him low. Jada grabbed his arm, twisting it until tendons popped. A 4-woman takedown. Brutal, perfectly synchronized, the kind only wrestlers could pull off. Marcus fell to his knees. For the first time all night, he looked rattled. "Now!" Raven screamed. Keisha wrapped her arm around his throat from behind in a chokehold. Zara pinned his left arm. Jada pinned his right. Raven kicked his legs out. Marcus roared, a deep, animalistic sound, thrashing violently. "He's slipping!" Keisha yelled. Ava screamed from inside the room. "Raven, the baby's coming! Now! Now!" Raven looked between Marcus and the room. If she left, Marcus might break free. If she stayed, Talia might not survive the birth. Keisha's voice cracked. "Go! We've got him!" Raven hesitated, then sprinted into the room. Talia was screaming, body arching off the floor in agony. Ava held her legs, shaking. Raven, it's happening. She's delivering right now. Raven knelt beside her, grabbing Talia's hand. Talia, listen to me, she said, breathless. You push now, you hear me? You push. Talia sobbed. I'm scared. I'm scared. I can't. Yes, you can, Raven whispered fiercely, because we're here and we're not letting him take you. Not today. Not ever. Talia inhaled sharply, then screamed through her entire soul as she pushed. Ava held her steady. Raven held her hand. The building shook from the fight behind them. Another contraction hit like lightning. Talia screamed again. The baby's head appeared. There, yes, keep going, Ava yelled, back in the hallway. Marcus broke one arm free. Keisha screamed, He's too strong! Jada cried out, Raven, hurry! Raven yelled back, I can't, she's almost there! Marcus slammed Keisha into the wall. Zara grabbed a frying pan and smashed it over his head. He staggered, barely. Talia screamed, a long, desperate, primal scream, and then, suddenly, a sharp, tiny cry filled the room. A new sound, a soft, fragile, miraculous sound. A baby's cry. Ava exhaled, tears streaming. Raven, she's here. The baby, she's here. Raven lifted the newborn carefully, tiny, slippery, pink-skinned, and placed her on Talia's chest. Talia sobbed violently, kissing her baby over and over. She's safe. She's safe. Thank you. Thank you. Behind them, Marcus stopped. His entire body froze. He turned slowly toward the sound of the crying newborn. His face twisted. What came out of his mouth was not a whisper, not a sentence, not even human. It was a sound filled with obsession, possession, madness. My baby. Raven stood, blocking the doorway. Touch her, she said, and I'll end you. Marcus roared and charged like a bull. Before he reached the room, a deafening voice cut through everything. State police, hands up! Move away from her now! Red and blue lights exploded through the diner windows. Officers flooded in with weapons drawn. Marcus froze, snarling, breathing hard, chest rising and falling like a monster interrupted mid-kill. Raven whispered, checkmate. For a moment the entire diner froze. Broken glass glittered on the floor, tables lay overturned, the air reeked of sweat, blood, and fear. And Marcus stood in the center of it all, tall, breathing hard, eyes locked on the newborn crying in Talia's arms. His fingers twitched. He wasn't surrendering, not to them, not to police, not to anyone. 2 state troopers burst into the hallway, guns drawn. Freeze! One shouted. Hands up, now! Marcus didn't lift his hands. He stared at the officers, then flicked his eyes toward the back room. Jada, still on her knees, gasped. He's going to run for her. But Marcus didn't run. He charged. A sound tore from his throat. Not a scream, not a word, something feral. The officers fired. Thump, thump, thump. Beanbag rounds slammed into Marcus's chest, enough to knock down a normal man. Marcus stumbled, but didn't fall. The trooper's eyes widened. What the? Marcus roared and slammed into both officers, sending them crashing into the wall. Keisha screamed, He's headed for Talia! Go! Go! The wrestlers pushed off the floor, battered but desperate. Raven sprinted into the hallway, her ribs screaming in pain. He does not touch her, she yelled. Marcus shoved past the officers and lunged for the doorway. Ava blocked him. All 5'4" of her, shaking, bleeding, but standing. You're not getting near her, she said, voice trembling but fierce. Marcus backhanded her so hard she slammed into the counter and fell unconscious. Ava! Zara cried. Marcus stepped over her. Talia shrieked from the back room, hugging the baby tightly. No, please, no! Someone help me! Marcus reached the doorway. Raven rammed into him with all her weight, screaming through clenched teeth. Leave her alone! He shoved her aside like she was nothing. Raven hit the floor and didn't get up. Marcus stepped into the room. Talia curled around her newborn, sobbing. "Please, please don't hurt us. Please." Marcus extended a hand toward the baby. "My baby," he whispered. His fingers brushed the newborn's blanket. Then, crack! A frying pan smashed into the side of his head. Marcus stumbled. Zara stood behind him, panting, arms shaking. "You touch them again," she said, "and I swear I'll kill you with this pan." Marcus turned toward her, eyes full of murder. He grabbed the frying pan and bent it in half with his bare hands. Zara's eyes widened in horror. "Oh, you've got to be kidding!" He grabbed her throat. Zara clawed at his arm, choking. Talia screamed, "Stop! Please stop!" Marcus tightened his grip. Zara's vision blurred, spots of white, darkness edging her sight. But then, 4 bodies slammed into Marcus at once. Keisha, Jada, Murphy, Raven, barely conscious but refusing to stay down. They tackled him off Zara and pinned him to the floor, screaming, straining, desperate. Marcus thrashed violently, throwing elbows, snarling, kicking. Raven felt her ribs crack again. Murphy got hit in the jaw. Keisha took a knee to the stomach. Jada's nose started bleeding. Still, they held on. "Call for backup!" Raven screamed. One of the troopers, barely conscious, fumbled for his radio, but Marcus surged upward again, lifting all 4 women like they weighed nothing, and slammed them backward into the broken diner booths. The crash echoed like thunder. Raven didn't get up. Jada collapsed. Keisha lay gasping. Murphy crawled but couldn't stand. Marcus turned back toward the room, toward the crying newborn, toward Talia, who had backed into the corner, shielding her daughter with her own body, screaming for anyone to help. Marcus stepped toward them slowly, methodically, like nothing could stop him. "Give me my child," he said. "No," Talia sobbed. "Please, I beg you, no!" He reached down, fingers curling. Then, a loud engine roared outside, tires screamed, doors slammed, boots thundered. Backup had arrived. SWAT officers stormed the diner entrance with ballistic shields. "Down on the ground! Don't move! Get away from her!" Marcus turned toward them for the first time. He hesitated. Not in fear, but calculation. He glanced at the broken window, the dark woods. Escape. He took 1 step backward. Raven, barely conscious, lifted her head. "No," she whispered. "Don't you dare!" Marcus sprinted for the window. SWAT opened fire with more beanbag rounds. Thump, 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 thump. Each one hitting him like a hammer. He stumbled, slammed into the wall, and finally, collapsed. His head hit the tile. Silence. Then, the baby cried. A small, fragile wail. Talia collapsed over her daughter, sobbing uncontrollably in relief. A SWAT medic rushed into the room. The wrestlers, broken and bleeding, struggled to sit up. Zara wiped blood from her lip. Is he down?" Raven coughed, barely audible. "He better be, because if he gets up again, I'm killing him." Officers swarmed Marcus, cuffed him, restrained him, checked for weapons. One officer turned to the wrestlers. "Ladies, you just saved 2 lives tonight." Raven's vision blurred. She slumped to the floor. Jada crawled to her side. "Raven, stay awake! Hey, stay with us!" Talia held her baby close, rocking back and forth, whispering, "You're safe now. You're finally safe." Outside, more police arrived, ambulances, paramedics. The nightmare was over. Almost. Because none of them knew. The real battle was about to begin. The flashing lights outside the diner painted the broken windows in red and blue, flickering like a warning. Paramedics rushed inside, stepping over shattered glass, overturned tables and trails of blood. 8 women lay scattered across the diner floor, bruised, bleeding, shaking. Talia sat in the corner, hugging her newborn against her chest so tightly her knuckles had turned white. She rocked the tiny baby back and forth, whispering through tears, "You're okay. Mommy's here. Mommy's here." Raven tried to sit up but collapsed with a grunt of pain. "Don't move," a medic told her, kneeling beside her. "You've got broken ribs." Raven coughed once, winced, then forced a grin. "I noticed." A medic checked Ava's pulse next. "She's unconscious but stable. She took a nasty hit." Jada's nose was still bleeding. Keisha's ribcage was bruised black and blue. Zara clutched her neck, breathing in shallow gasps. They all looked like they had gone through a war. Because they had. At the hospital, 3:16 a.m. The emergency room was bright, loud, and chaotic, yet strangely comforting after the nightmare they'd lived through. Raven lay in a hospital bed with her ribs wrapped tightly. Jada sat nearby with bandages across her forehead. Keisha was wheezing through every breath, but still cracking jokes. Zara had a brace on her neck. Ava finally woke up, blinking under the harsh lights. What happened?" she whispered. Raven managed a weak laugh. "You flew, girl, like across the diner." Ava groaned. "Oh God, did we win?" Keisha smirked. "Damn right we did." But the room went silent as a nurse rolled past them with a baby in her arms, wrapped in a pink blanket. Tiny fingers, tiny breaths, tiny sounds. Baby Grace. Talia followed behind, moving slowly, holding onto the wall for support. She wore a hospital gown, her hair wild, her eyes swollen from hours of crying and pain. When she saw the wrestlers, she broke down again. "Oh my God," she whispered. You all saved us. I don't even have words." Raven forced herself to sit up straighter. "You don't owe us anything," she said softly. "You fought harder than any of us." Talia cried harder at that. Ava patted the space beside her. "Come sit." Talia sat carefully. Clutching her newborn, Zara laid a gentle hand on Grace's tiny head. "She's beautiful." Talia nodded, tears falling onto her daughter's blanket. "She almost didn't make it." "I almost didn't make it." "But you did," Keisha said. "You survived." Talia wiped her cheeks. "I survived. Because of all of you." Morning news, a viral story. By sunrise, every news outlet in the state was running the same headline. 8 female wrestlers save pregnant woman from violent husband. 8. Female wrestlers save pregnant woman from violent husband. Deliver baby during attack. Videos of the wrestlers being wheeled into ambulances spread across the internet. People called them heroes warriors, lifesavers. Hashtags flooded social media. Hashtag heroines of Highway 49. Hashtag women protecting women. Hashtag Grace and her guardians. Thousands of messages poured into the hospital waiting room. But while the world celebrated, Talia trembled every time she heard a male voice in the hallway. She jumped whenever a door opened too fast. She refused to let Grace out of her arms, even for a moment. A nurse tried to take the baby for a checkup. Talia panicked instantly. No, don't take her, please, I'm begging you." The nurse backed up gently. "Okay, she stays with you. Everything's fine." Raven watched from across the room, heart-breaking. She recognized that fear. Deep, quiet. Permanent police interviews and Marcus's fate. Detectives interviewed each wrestler separately. "As of now," one officer said, "Marcus is in custody at State Medical Multiple Fractures from beanbag rounds. He's under guard." Raven exhaled in relief, but the officer wasn't finished. "He's conscious and asking for his wife." The temperature in the room dropped. Ava whispered, "Why? He should be in a straitjacket." The officer looked uncomfortable. "He claims the baby is his. He's insisting she was stolen. We're preparing formal charges: kidnapping, attempted murder, domestic abuse, assault, resisting arrest." "Make it all of them," Jada snapped. "We intend to," the officer assured. "But to keep Talia safe, she needs to testify." Raven winced. Can she handle that? The officer looked toward Talia, who was curled up in bed, rocking Grace. "She'll have to." Court orders and protective custody. Later that afternoon, a judge granted Talia a full restraining order. Emergency protective custody, temporary relocation through a safe house program. A social worker explained gently, "We can move you somewhere safe, far away. New phone, new address, new identity if you need it." Talia nodded weakly. "I'll go anywhere. Just don't let him find us." Raven reached out and held her hand. "He's never touching you again." Talia squeezed back. "I believe you." But that night, something happened. When the wrestlers were finally discharged, they were escorted to a safe hotel nearby. They were exhausted, mentally broken, physically aching, emotionally drained. Raven unlocked the hotel room door. "Everyone inside," she muttered. "No splitting up." They collapsed onto beds and sofas, too tired to speak. But Keisha stood by the window, frowning. "Raven," she whispered, "come here." Raven limped over. A black sedan was parked across the street. Engine running, headlights off. Jada joined them, eyes narrowing. "That better be police." Raven shook her head slowly. "No police drive that model." The sedan's driver's side window rolled down, just an inch enough to see a silhouette, tall, broad, still. Keisha's stomach dropped. "No way, no way," Raven whispered, voice trembling. "That's him." The hotel room fell silent, 8 battered wrestlers, 1 trembling mother, 1 newborn baby. And outside, across the quiet evening street, a black sedan sitting in the shadows, engine running, headlights off, driver barely visible, but visible enough. Raven whispered, "Everyone stay low. Don't go near the win." Ava's voice shook. "Please tell me it's not him again. Please tell me." Keisha swallowed hard. "It's him." No one breathed. Then, knock, knock, knock. Someone knocked on their door. Ava jumped so hard she dropped her water bottle. Raven held a finger to her lips. Everyone froze. Another knock. Louder, more urgent. Raven grabbed a lamp as a weapon. Jada grabbed a chair. Zara grabbed a hair iron. They stepped quietly toward the door. Raven pressed her ear against it. A man's voice spoke from the hallway. "State police, open up." The wrestlers tensed. Raven narrowed her eyes. "Show your ID under the door." There was a pause. Then, slowly, a badge slid under the door. Raven inspected it. It was real. She exhaled shakily and opened the door just enough to see 2 officers. "Ma'am," one said, "we're here because—" He was cut off by shouting from the street. Every wrestler rushed to the window, and the sedan peeled away, tires screeching. The officers ran to the railing. "There he goes! That's Marcus's father's car!" Ava gasped. "You mean he wasn't alone?" The officer nodded grimly. "His father posted bail 30 minutes ago. Marcus escaped police transfer. They think he had help." Raven whispered, "He came for her?" Talia clutched baby Grace tighter, bursting into terrified tears. "Please, please don't let him take her. Please!" Raven knelt in front of her. "No one is taking your baby." Her voice cracked with emotion. "Not while we're breathing." The police take action. Within minutes, the hotel parking lot flooded with squad cars, detectives, and SWAT officers escorted Talia, Grace, and the wrestlers out the back entrance. Talia trembled violently as they guided her into an armored police vehicle. "I can't do this," she sobbed. "I can't keep running." Raven leaned in through the open door. "You're not running anymore. You're fighting, and we're fighting with you." Talia met her eyes, and something in her expression changed. Fear shifted, just a little, into strength. Court hearing. 1 week later, Marcus was caught. 48 hours later, his father was arrested for aiding him. The courtroom was tense. Cameras everywhere, reporters whispering, flashlights popping. Talia sat at the front, baby Grace asleep in her arms. The wrestlers filled the row behind her, bruised, neck braces, arm slings, bandages. A warrior army. When Marcus was brought in wearing cuffs, he glared at Talia. Talia flinched, but Raven placed a hand on her shoulder. "You're safe," she whispered. The judge listed the charges: attempted murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault, endangerment of a pregnant woman, assaulting officers, resisting arrest, breaking protective orders, fleeing custody. Marcus sat still, emotionless. When asked to speak, he said only, "That's my child." The courtroom murmured in disgust. Talia's voice shook as she stood. "No, she's my child, and she will never know you." Raven and the wrestlers all stood with her. A statement, a shield, a wall he could never break. Marcus watched them silently as the judge denied bail and ordered him to maximum security. For the first time, Talia breathed without shaking. 3 months later, a new life begins. Fall sunlight warmed the safe house porch where Talia sat rocking Grace. Her hair was brushed. Her cheeks glowed with health. Her eyes, once haunted, were finally soft again. A car pulled up. 8 familiar women stepped out, smiling, healed, stronger. Ava waved wildly. "Our baby is 3 months old! Woo!" Talia laughed, a real warm laugh. She stood and hugged each one of them tightly. "You saved my life," she whispered. Zara shook her head. "No, you saved your own. We just backed you up." Keisha grinned. "And we always will." Raven knelt beside baby Grace, who was giggling at her necklace. "Look at her," Raven whispered. "Strong, a fighter already." Talia wiped a tear. "She's alive because of you." Raven shook her head. "She's alive because you ran, because you fought, because you wanted a better life for her." Ava wiped her eyes dramatically. "Why am I crying? I'm supposed to be the funny one." They all laughed. For the first time, the laughter didn't feel forced. It felt like healing. The final emotional scene. As the women sat on the porch, holding Grace, talking, laughing, soaking in the peace of a safe morning, Talia looked at them and asked softly, "Why did you help me? You didn't even know me." Raven looked out at the trees, then at the baby sleeping in her arms. "We didn't need to know you," she said. "You were a woman in danger, and we were 8 women strong enough to stand between you and the monster." She handed Grace back to Talia. "And now? Now you're one of us." Talia smiled through tears. "Family?" Raven nodded. Family. The camera pulls back. The porch bathed in golden light, the women laughing. Grace sleeping peacefully in her mother's arms. A new chapter. A new life. A new beginning. Safe. Loved. Protected. If this story touched your heart, hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Let me know in the comments which city and country you're watching from, so I can thank you personally. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more true, emotional stories like this. Because sometimes, the strongest heroes are the ones who choose to protect others, even when they're hurting themselves.